Town Hall, our third annual. Welcome back. We're in the New York Public Library on a beautiful Sunday here in New York City. And we want to turn now to how teachers are finding solutions to challenges they face in the classroom and the role that parents can play specifically. 84% of teachers think family involvement and support has a very strong impact on student achievement. It stands to reason, of course. We are joined by Dina Bruce of the Newark Elementary School in Arkansas. There's a Newark, Delaware, there's a Newark, Arkansas, and Selena Alonso from the Maryvale High School in Arizona. Dina, what was your experience? You just kind of took something on yourself.
Well, I started out in life as a social worker. Graduated college with a social work degree. I'm a non-traditional teacher and worked in my school district and I am a first grade teacher now. And through the years I found that being a teacher is so much like being a social worker, and I had the skills and the training, and I just didn't occur to me not to visit the families in their home, not to make the children feel comfortable, not to visit every parent, every grandparent. So I just started calling and showing up at the doors. And
do you bring food or anything?
Yes, absolutely. You've got it. There's food, there's clothes, there's anything. I can hook them up with services as I learned as a social worker. So I can fill needs so that my children do so much better in the classroom.
Of course, all that time comes out of your life.
Sure, it does, but it's wonderful. It's enjoyable. It's friends. You make new friends, too. It's not just, it is personal. It's not just my teaching. I make new friends.
And what return on your investment have you seen with your students?
Well, as we all talk about the testing, when I give that effort and can see that family, make sure there's a turkey there for Christmas, make sure those kids have shoes, I get a better score. I might not bring that child up to advanced, but I guarantee I'll have that child up to proficient where they may have been basic before.
And your story is you grew up in the community where you teach now.
Right.
How are things different?
There's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, I didn't graduate too long ago from high school, what I definitely see as the challenges that I think my students are facing. I'm from Phoenix. I live in Arizona, and the challenges that my current students are facing in the classroom are a little bit different. We've experienced deep cuts. I'm sure that's happening all over the nation, but in Arizona, deep cuts in the classroom and in education, and also I have my students that are dealing with things like Senate Bill 1070 and immigration issues that are running right now in Arizona, and those things really impact the classroom. That really makes their learning more difficult because they are constantly worried about other things. I don't think I necessarily had that in my face when I was in the classroom, but that is the biggest thing that I think that separates what school is like, 10 plus years ago when I was in high school and what it's like now.
And if you can cast modesty aside, and if I were coming to follow you and see the return on investment in the lives of your students, what has happened in their lives because you've decided to put out?
I think what my students have is an example, and they have someone to look at and say, she did that. I can do that. She has shown us how to do that, and so we can do it. And I think that is probably the biggest thing.
That's a wonderful thing. Tamara, let's take this into the room.
Yes, I have teachers lined up ready to talk about parents and their role in their child's life and the role they play in your lives, quite honestly.
Well, the roles that they play in their schools' lives. Parents know what children need and want in their schools. I'm a music teacher, and we had program cuts a couple of years ago, and parents came out and signed petitions and went to school board meetings and complained and said, we want instrumental music in our schools. Do not cut this. Now, fortunately, the city of Philadelphia still has 66 music teachers teaching flutes and clarinets and trumpets, and so we have a great program. Parents want it. Parents will control this. They can move mountains, and they wanted music, and so we didn't lose any instrumental music teachers last year. What a great thing for parents to have that kind of power, because that's what they want.
There's even a new movie about parents moving mountains. Have you seen that in your life?
Absolutely. Parents are the first teachers. They are our predecessors. We're just taking the mantle from them, and we want their children to succeed just as much as they do. We feel that they're our children as well sometimes.
All right, and sir? Your
Well, I teach in one of the poorest districts in the nation, in the South Bronx, and I'm sorry to say that more parents cannot be involved because of the situation there. We had an open school night last week, and we had just a small handful of students' parents who could show up for a variety of reasons. We need to get parents more involved, and we need, as professionals, to start giving parents better information to judge what's going on in their school building.
You had one way to get parents involved in your school. What would it be?
It would be to do this thing in Cincinnati where we create an advocacy program for the students to get the parents involved and get the parents some direct benefits instead of just, talking the talk, walking the walk.
It's what a tragedy. Think of the companies in New York City that could do that without even breaking a sweat. They could just walk in, swoop in, and provide those services. Jenna?
Tara, Mala, and Terry, 3 teachers who believe, of course, that parent involvement is very important. What have you done to get parents involved in your classroom?
I teach at an unscreened public high school in the Bronx, and parent involvement is a partnership. My classroom has an open door, and I spend time calling parents and having student-parent nights to come in, and we work with student translators all the time. We need parents in the classroom, so we spend hours every week trying to make sure that that happens.
And what do you see in the differences with parents who are involved and those that aren't?
No, I teach in Highland Park High School. I teach math, and the most biggest problem that I see is my community is so diverse, and it becomes very hard as a teacher to communicate to the diverse population, diverse parents. Language becomes a barrier, but I'm so happy and proud of my students, teachers, staff who take the time and translate the problems that I have as a teacher and communicate to the parents. And it's not just one teacher. We are just one big family at Highland Park.
You've been teaching for 31 years,
Yes, ma'am.
which is really amazing. What have you seen? What are some of the barriers that keep parents out of the classroom? And what have you seen the difference in achievement of those kids who have parents involved?
Obviously, parent involvement is essential for all children, not just children that seem to be having trouble achieving, but all children need parent involvement. And one of the things that I do that I think is essential, the problem is always how you get the time. And email, give me email. So I send out email blasts constantly. Don't wait for them to call. Email, email, email. Of course, everybody doesn't have it, but then the number of people I call, the number of visits I have to make is small enough that I can handle it. And I think technology is a tool that we're underusing for things like this. All my class lessons, everything is on my website. You can go right now and see everything I do in class. So that kind of open communication, I think, is absolutely essential. Parents feel comfortable because there's no curtain. The curtain's open. You can see everything I do and call me. And now I'm teaching second-generation children. So
Look at that. That's
Amazing. Thanks so much.
Wow, thank you. Dina, how many, I hate to ask about a negative, how many dry wells do you run up against? How many households have you been unwelcome in? People who just don't dig a home visit?
Well, it does happen. So I've visited in cars. I've visited at folks at their place of business. They've allowed me to. I make sure the family is comfortable with me coming. I do not force a visit on a family. But I want to see that parent face to face. And in general, for the most part, everyone is very friendly, very forthcoming, and they will allow me to meet them, even if it's at the park, in their car, in the parking lot, anywhere. I want to visit you away from school where you don't feel uncomfortable. I don't want the family feeling like that they're coming to my environment. I want them to feel like I'm coming to them where they're comfortable, where they feel like they can talk about their situation and their child.
Wow, you are like the Sonic America's drive-in of teachers. That's fantastic. Offering free burger and fries service to the door of your car. Selena, what, again, not to ask a negative, but what gets you down? You're a sunny person.
I am.
You love what you do for a living. What gets you down in the job? We just heard that gripping story of South Bronx where, on parent night, the turnout is disturbingly low, and that has been a problem for decades, and it will when we gather next year.
What gets me down? You know, I don't really, when I do feel down, I don't really stay there very long. I take that as a challenge. One of the things that I think is key to understand about parent involvement in the classroom is that my direct line to the parent is their child. I serve in a school where we are incorporating technology as a means to get in touch with parents, but a lot of the parents of the children I serve don't have access to those things. And so, I have to engage the student. If I can communicate to the parents through their student that I understand that their child is their most precious gift, and they are entrusting me every day with their most precious gift, and make a classroom experience where the students feel safe, where they feel that they have a voice, where they feel respected, where they feel loved, it provides a way for the student to become my direct line to the parent. And then they go home and tell their parent comes back and is willing to talk, is willing to be involved. Providing ways for the students to talk about things that are going on at home, issues that their parents have, and then I can in turn direct them in the right place or find them the right program. We talked about, or you talked about earlier, the wraparound services. A lot of our schools don't have those things, but in the community, those things are available. We just have to be seeking them out. And so we have to figure out how we are going to bridge parents to those things. And when they understand that this person, this teacher, cares about my child, it motivates and it moves them. The fear goes out the door. The apprehension goes out the door. We become a unified team, and they actively begin to seek help from the schools for their kids.
I'm very glad the two of you visited us. Thank you very much for the work you do on behalf of those you serve. Our thanks to Dina Bruce, Selena Alonso. When we come back, our lightning round, we're going to really make